Hey, church. Chris here with a chat. The plants over there. I've been thinking and chewing on things. It's been a bit since we've had one of these. I'll confess, I've been in a rut, struggling, thinking, trying to think deeply and formulate some thoughts. And so this is just a little part of that and some of the things I've been chewing on and thinking about. Every morning, I walk my dog, Sully the Wonder Dog. His picture will show up here. And I use that time to think. And yesterday and today, June 7th, 8th, my thoughts went to Peter's confession and Jesus' confirmation of what Peter says in Matthew chapter 16. And I started asking myself this question. What if Jesus was serious about what he said? What if Jesus was serious about what he expects of the church? And I got anxious and nervous, frustrated. And so Matthew 16 has Jesus just looking at his disciples and say, who do people say that I am? Now, we know as we read this that Jesus is setting up a teachable moment. He's setting them up. It's how it works with the disciples. And they give the answers. Well, John the Baptist, they throw out these ideas, non-committal stuff people are saying. But then he turns the table and he looks at him and he says, who do you say that I am? And Peter, being Peter, steps right out and says, you're the Messiah. You're the Christ. You're the one. And Jesus makes a very powerful, powerful declaration there. He says, Peter, on this I will build my church. The foundations of us, the foundations of the church are right there. In these words by Peter, given the stamp of authority by Jesus. This is what I'm building my church upon. And there's a moment, there's a phrase in here. As Jesus says, this church is going to be, this is my kingdom. This is going to be the power of me, Christ, on earth. And even the gates of hell will not prevail against it. And I've asked this question before, but I want to ask it again because this is what drew me back to Peter's confession in Matthew 16. What are gates for? What is the purpose of a gate? It's to keep people out. Jesus is saying the church built on the foundation of him, the Messiah, the Christ, is going to storm the gates of hell, the very place where the lost reside, the very place where darkness rules, and nothing will be able to stop us. The gates of hell will not prevail against us. Gates are not offensive weapons. Gates are defensive. They're meant to keep us out. And so I ask this question. And this is what has me so anxious these days. How can we expect to overcome anything meant to keep us out if we can't even overcome all the things that have been put on a silver platter and laid in front of us? How can we expect to overcome the very gates of hell if we can't even seem to overcome our own schedules, habits? How can we expect to storm into hell and overcome the power of darkness if we can't even find ourselves storming through doors that have been unlocked for us chairs that have been neatly arranged for us, and services that have been arranged for us already. If we want to be the church built on the foundation that Jesus himself declares in Matthew 16, we must value and prioritize everything that Jesus himself valued and prioritized. That will show itself in our actions, in our lives, in our Christian character. We cannot rely only on attendance or lack thereof, or this brick and mortar room to define our faith. The evidence of Christ in us is listed conveniently by Paul in Galatians 5, the fruit of the Spirit. The evidence of Christian character will be shown in the evidence of the Holy Spirit living in us. He calls it the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. It's not about the church's mission. It's not about the church's name. It's not about the church's schedule. It's not about the church's worship style, song selections, instruments, genders. It's not about whatever stance we may take on a cultural issue. It's about the foundation upon which we are built. Our power is not in our opinions. Our power is not in our location. Our power is not on our stance on whatever cultural opinion is ruling the day or the media today. Our power is in valuing what Jesus himself valued. And it is that is the foundation of the church. It's about Jesus, our rock, our Christ. And if we declare ourselves his church, we have to look and act like him in all things. I'll see you Sunday.